Hi, hello friends, welcome to our channel. In today's video, we'll be seeing nuclear power plants or a Unit 3 MCQs from Power Plant Engineering. Question number 1. Nuclear chain reactions and nuclear explosions were predicted by dash scientists. Option A, German scientists. Option number B is given as England scientists. Option number C is given as Indian scientists. Option number D is given as American scientists. This nuclear chain reactions and nuclear explosions were theorized and predicated nearby Second World War, and it was done by German scientists. Okay, none other than our Albert Einstein. He was the one who predicted this nuclear chain reactions and nuclear explosions. So I'm going with option number A, German. Question number 2. The nuclear chain reactions and nuclear explosions were predicated in. Predicated means came to the world, they theorized and sent papers on it. Okay, they told to the world. Question number 9, option number A, 1939, option number B, 1945, option number C, 1981, and option number D, 1918. The Second World War time only this nuclear reactions and nuclear explosions came during that period only. So the Second World War was between 1939 and 1945. So I am going with option number A, 1939, because at that year only this nuclear chain reaction, nuclear explosions were predicated. Going to option number A, 1939. If you want to remember this, in 1945 they dropped the bomb. So during that only 1 year you can't do some inventions, only inventing it and dropping it. You can't do that. You need some time before a theory should be published. Then you have to make papers on it, research on it, then test on it. For that you will need some time. Just for keep in mind. So in start of the Second World War, that is during the year 1939, this nuclear chain reaction and nuclear explosions were predicated. Question number 3. 1 kg of uranium can produce energy equivalent to dash tons of high grade coal. In thermal power plants, we'll be using coal, that is coal power plants. We'll be using coal for generation of heat. Using the generation of heat, we'll be running, we'll boiling the steam or gases, and we'll be placing it on our turbine blades and rotating it and get electricity. But we need high grade coal of so much quantity to produce that kind of energy. How much energy does a high grade coal produce comparing to 1 kg of uranium? They are given that 1 kg of uranium can produce equivalent of dash tons of high grade coal electricity. How much electricity 1 kg of uranium can produce comparing to dash tons of that 1 kg of produce X quantity. If you keep in mind that if 1 kg of uranium produces X quantity of electricity, how much quantity of high grade coal will be required to produce that electricity? Option number A is given as 4,500 tons, option number B is given as 1 ton, option number C is given as 10 ton, and option number D is given as 1000 ton. If to produce electricity that 1 kg of uranium produce with a high grade coal, you need 4,500 tons of high grade coal. Okay, so you'll all be thinking that if this much advantage we have on producing nuclear power plants, then we must keep more plants in the country, because you'll all be thinking that it's a good thing that only government is also making nuclear power plants in all the parts of our country. It has high disadvantages of nuclear power plants. We know how it is difficult to dispose the waste nowadays. Okay, coming back to our questions, MCQ questions session. 1 kg of uranium can produce energy equivalent to dash tons of high grade coal, 4,500 tons of high grade coal. Question number 4. 1 kg of uranium can produce dash equivalent tons of oil. If you are taking oil in case of burning with coal, how many tons it will be required to produce the same electricity as produced by 1 kg of uranium? Option number A is given as 4,500 tons, option number B is given as 1,700 tons, option number C is given as 100 tons, and option number D is given as 500 tons. It will be requiring about 1700 tons of oil for producing the same energy, that is electricity produced by uranium, 1 kg of uranium. So I'm going to option number B, 1700 tons of oil. Question number 5. Nuclear power plants has provided dash percentage of world's electricity in 2012. In the year 2012 alone, how many percentage of world's electricity is produced by nuclear power plants? Option number A is given as 5, option number B is given as 6, option number C is given as 10.9, option number D is given as 10.5. Nuclear power plants has produced 10.9 percentage of world's electricity in 2012. You might thinking 10.9 is just a small percentage, but if you are taking the whole world, we need electricity demand is high for giving the whole world. 10.9 is a big number for electricity produced all around the world. So I'm going to option number C, 10.9. Question number 6. Match the following. Most of the world's energy today comes from, resources are given and we are having other side our percentage. Option A is given as petroleum, option number C is given as coal, option number B is given as coal, option number C is given as natural gas, and option number D is given as hydroelectric power, option number E is given as nuclear power. On the right side we are giving percentage, how many percentage of world's energy is produced today. Through petroleum we will get 39%. Okay, just keep in mind, through petroleum we will be getting 39%. That is the highest percentage we are getting through in the highest percentage of electricity we are getting in this world now. So I am going option number A for 39. A. Through coal we will be getting 24%. That is the second largest. Through natural gas we will be getting 22%. C. Through hydroelectric power plants we will be getting 6.9%. Through nuclear power plants we will be getting 6.3%. Though nuclear power plants through 1 kg of uranium, through 1 kg of thorium, through 1 kg of nuclear materials, nuclear elements, we can get high quantity of electricity. Though we can get in that high quantity, but getting that nuclear power plant in such a quantity is also of high cost. So, and also the disposal of waste of nuclear power plants is also some serious issues. So now, nuclear power plants, electricity produced by nuclear power plants is the lowest. Second, hydroelectric power plant. We can't build hydroelectric power plants all over the rivers, because in some rivers, whenever rain comes only we will get water. In such cases, we can't depend only on hydroelectric power plants, so we will be using some other sources also. Petroleum has high calorific value, so we are getting 39% of electricity alone from petroleum today. Second, coal, that is 24%. Say along with me, then you can memorize in your brain. Petroleum 39%, coal 24%, natural gas 22%, hydroelectric power plants is around 6.9 and 6.3. Okay. Question number 7. About dash tons of natural uranium per year is required to meet the current demand. To produce about 6.3% of electricity, how much tons of natural uranium is required per year? Now we are getting about 6.3%. Day to day increase, we are having more nuclear power plants. So in our textbook, the last edition, they are given that about dash tons of natural uranium per year is required to meet the current demand. Option number A is given as 1050, option number B is given as 100, option number C is given as 50, and option number D is given as 200 tons. About 150 tons of natural uranium per year is required to meet the current demand. So I'm going to option number A, 150. Question number 8. The average production cost for nuclear energy is 1.2 rupees per kilowatt hour. You can also see it's very cheap for producing that energy produced from nuclear power plant, that is electricity produced from nuclear power plants is about only 1.2 rupees per kilowatt hour. So I'm going to option number 2 because the statement is true, and you can also see that this is a very cheap process for producing electricity. Question number 9, the average production cost of electricity from gas cost rupees 2.27 per kilowatt hour. This is also true, so I'm going to option number 8, true. If you are using nuclear power plant, nuclear farm, you are getting electricity from nuclear energy, it costs just only rupees 1.2, whereas if you are producing electricity from gas, it takes about 2.27. 2.27 is divided by 3, and 1.2, if you are taking it, will go nearby 1.5. You can see the difference, that is, it is 2 times then production from nuclear energy. Electricity cost of electricity production is nearly 2 times then nuclear energy. Okay, so just keep in your mind 1.2 straight double 2.27. okay. Question number 10, according to Dalton's theory, in nuclear power plants, Dalton's theory is a most important theory for production of energy from nuclear elements, nuclear atoms. Option number A is given as all atoms of one element are precisely alike even if they have same mass. It only differs the atoms of the other elements. All the atoms in the element are same and has same mass. According to Dalton's theory, all the atoms of one element are same and has same mass. If different atoms mean, they will have different masses. This is Dalton's theory statement. Option number B says the chemical combination consists of union of small fixed number of atoms of one element with a small fixed number of other elements. The chemical combination, every element has its own chemical combination. The chemical combination consists of a union of small fixed number of atoms of one element. If one element, there is a fixed number of atoms and with a fixed number of other elements. If you are taking a water is an element, we know. In water we have two elements, hydrogen and oxygen. In that in nuclear field also, we'll be taking, if we are taking an element, there will be also some atoms, so there will be also some 2 to 3 elements in it. In that 2 to 3 elements also, that atoms in each element, if you are taking I'm saying you are taking a nuclear element and you have plutonium along with thorium in it. In thorium element you will be having atom. In a plutonium element also you will be having in some atom. If you are taking an element, in this element you have some plutonium and some thorium. In this plutonium, according to first statement, the atoms in one element, in plutonium element, all the atoms will be number of atoms. Okay, all the atoms will be same. In thorium, number of atoms, they all will be same. To thorium, all in these atoms will be same. This is what it is saying. This will be all will be saying having same mass. If the mass is 14, they will be also having the atomic mass as 14. They will be, if the mass is 27, it will be all having atomic mass as 27. Just saying the number, not precise one. It only differs in atoms of other element. It will be mixed only, no. This only differs with the atoms of other element. This plutonium means this will be thorium. This will be plutonium means this will be thorium. They will only differ with the other element atoms. Okay. All the plutonium atoms will be of same shape, same size, same mass, and thorium atoms will also be of same shape, same size, and same mass. But plutonium atoms and thorium atoms will be different from each other. The option B says the chemical combination of union of small fixed number of atoms of one element with the small fixed number of other elements. If you are taking this union, they will also be they will have some fixed numbers. If you are taking one element of uranium of some nuclear element and other element containing plutonium and thorium, the number of plutonium atoms will be same with this. Here also, if plutonium atom is 10, here also plutonium atom will be 10. The plutonium element will be 10. plutonium atoms will be 10. If you are taking thorium, it will be sum of 20. Then here also it will be sum of 20. Okay, this is what is saying. Option number C is given as both A and B. Option number D is given as none of these. So I'm going with option number A, both A and B. Question number 11. An element is defined as a substance which cannot be decomposed into other substance. What is an element? An element, hydrogen. If you are taking an hydrogen, it can't decompose and change into other substance. So I'm going with option number A, true. You know what is element? Element is hydrogen, helium, lithium, beryllium, boron, carbon. These are the examples of element. An element cannot break and change into other element. Okay, it can't decompose and change into other elements. Question number 12. The smallest particle of an element which takes part in any chemical reaction is known as atom. Generally, we all know that the smallest particle of an element is called an atom. You can't break an atom. The smallest particle of an element is the smallest particle. It is of somewhat of micro nano size. The smallest particle of an atom which takes part in a chemical reaction is known as atom. So I'm going with option number A, true. Question number 13. The number of protons in the nucleus is called dash number, atomic number, mass number. The number of protons in a nucleus is called as atomic number. So I'm going with option number A, atomic. If there is 10 protons in a nucleus, then the atomic number will be 10. If there is 20 protons in a nucleus, then we'll have the atomic number as 20. Question number 14. If you are generally taking for a 13th question, I'm saying an example. If you know all the element called nitrogen 7, 14. In this case, 7 is its atomic number. Then what happens? It has 7 protons in its nucleus. If this is a nucleus, it will have first 2 electrons, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 electrons. Sorry, 5 electrons will be there. So we will not having these 2 electrons. We will be having 5 electrons in its another shell, another valency. Okay, another valence shell. Question number 14. Then the total number of nucleons in the nucleus is dash number. It's called as mass number. So I'm going with option number B, mass. Nucleus consists of protons and neutrons. So number of protons in the nucleus is called as atomic number. Number of neutrons in the nucleus is called as a mass number. Total protons plus neutrons is called as total protons plus neutrons is called as a nucleus. This is the electron. Sorry, I told you this is an electronic configuration, not a proton. Just don't confuse it. This is the electronic configuration, not protons configuration. This has none this with protons. Just to explain it, I told you. If this is consider this as a whole nucleus, and in the whole nucleus we will be having 7 for a nuclear element. For nitrogen element we will be having 7 atoms, 7 protons, and along with the 7 protons you will be having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 protons. We will be having 14 nucleons. Together they gives about a nucleus. Together neutrons, protons plus neutrons gives a nucleus, and nucleus is surrounded by electrons. Okay. Question number 14. The total number of nucleons in a nucleus is called as dash number, mass number. Question number 15. The difference between mass number and atomic number gives the number of neutrons in the nucleus of an atom. Yeah, it's a true one. The difference between mass number and atomic number in a neutron, atomic number gives the neutrons in a nucleus of the atom. So I'm going with option number A, true. Question number 16. If the mass number of the elements is different but atomic number is same, then they are called as. Option A is given as isotopes, option number B is given as isobars, and option number C is given as isotones, and option number D is given as none of these. If the element is having same mass number, say a different mass number but same atomic number, then we'll be calling it as isotopes. If the element is having different atomic number and same mass number, then it will be calling as isobars. Just know the difference between them. Question number 17. Deuterium is also called as option A heavy hydrogen, option number B is a light hydrogen, option number C medium hydrogen, option number D is given as none of these. Deuterium is called as heavy hydrogen. If you combine hydrogen with oxygen, you will be getting water. But if you are giving deuterium with oxygen, you get deuterium oxide. Its formula is D2O. It is called as heavy hydrogen. So its formula is D2O. You'll get an option called D2O also in your exam. Question number 18. Deuterium is an dash of hydrogen. Isotopes, isobars and isotones. Deuterium is an example of an isotope of hydrogen. So I'm going to option number A, isotope. Question number 19. The mass of the atom is expressed in terms of mass of dash. Option A photon, option B proton, option C electron and option D neutron. Option number A is given as photon, option number B is given as proton, option number C is given as electron and option number D is given as neutron. We are going to option number C, electron. The mass of an atom is expressed in terms of its mass of its electron. Question number 20. The energy released at the moment of the combination of two nucleons to form a nucleus of an atom is called. If you are joined two nucleons to form a nucleus, nucleons means it consists of protons and in nucleons will be containing protons, neutrons and some antineutrons, neutrinos. Antineutrinos will be having positrons, mesons will have number of particles in a nucleus. That in that two particles major will be taking as proton and neutron. That if one nucleus is called proton and you are taking a neutron here, you are just combining it. You are just combining it to form a nucleus. If you are combining that time, there will be some energy released during that combination. Consider here, it is a proton and this is a neutron. You are just combining it and forming one nucleus. If this nucleus produced, it gives along with some energy. That energy is called as what? Energy released during the combination of two nucleons to form a nucleus is called dash. It is called as binding energy. So I'm going to option number A, binding energy. Question number 12. The binding energy can also be defined as the energy required to overcome the binding force of the nucleus. This binding energy can also be defined as the energy required to overcome the binding force of the nucleus. So I'm going to option number A, true. Question number 22. Dash is the phenomenon of spontaneous emission of powerful radiation exhibited by. Dash is the phenomenon of spontaneous emissions of powerful radiation exhibited by heavy elements. What is the phenomenon of combination of two heavy elements? Option A is given as radioactivity, option number B is given as carbon dating, option number C is given as artificial transmutation, option number D is given as none of this. The phenomenon is called as radioactivity. Carbon dating means you'll be finding the life of a specimen, or if you're finding some archaeological product. Recently in Keeladi, you find some archaeological materials such as bones and pots. It got pots. We find that its age. We told it is about 5,000 to 6,000 or 7,000 years back. How did they find out? They found out using carbon dating. Checks giving some how much amount of carbon content, carbon decay. They'll be calculating and finding that age. So that process is called carbon dating. And artificial simulation means it's a conversion of an element into other element by bombarding it with a fundamental particle. This is called as artificial transmutation. Question number 23. The conversion of an element into another element. You are converting an element into another element by bombarding some particle. atoms, maybe some element, some atoms. If you are giving some electrons and bombarding with some electrons and converting that element into another element, it is called as what? Option A is given as radiography, option number B is given as carbon dating, option number C is given as artificial transmulation, and option number D is given as none of this. It is called as artificial transmulation. So I'm going with option number C, artificial transmulation. Question number 24, give the half-life of the elements. In one side we are having some elements, and other side we are having the half-life of that elements. We are just going to match it. Option A is given as carbon 14, option number B is given as sodium 24, option number C is given as iron 59, option number D is given as cobalt 60, and option number E is given as uranium 235. If a carbon is having 13, then it is not a radioactive. If the carbon is of 14, then it will be have 14 electrons, then it will be having radioactive. It's a radioactive. We'll be sending some radio waves. Okay. Its half-life. Half-life means if you are going, if you are having a nuclear reactor and you have waste, the time required to minimizing its radiations energy, radiations produced by it, to half of its amount. If it is produced, if you are using some nuclear element and it is producing 100 kilojoule of energy, it is producing some 100 or 100 kilojoule of energy. The time required, if you are after decomposing it or making some the time which is required to make that kilojoule 100 kilojoule to 50 kilojoule is called as half-life. It's called its half-life. If carbon 14 is producing about 200 kilojoule of energy now, then what is the time required to make it about 100 kilojoule, that is half of its energy. It's called as half-life. Without making and disposing in its half-life, if you are disposing it in its active form, then there will be serious sequences in the environmental issues. For carbon 14, it takes about 5,730 years. So I'm going with option number A for this. So for carbon 14 it takes 5,730 years. For sodium it takes about 15 hours only, just 15 hours only. B. For iron it takes about 45 days. Iron 59 it takes about 45 days. For cobalt 60 it takes about 5.3 years. For uranium 235 it takes about 710 million years. That's why we'll be using uranium. It has high energy. For becoming that half only, we will just it's taking about 710 million years. So we are taking uranium 235 for our nuclear energy production, not carbon 14, not sodium, not iron, not cobalt. Okay, cobalt it is used in medical applications. Thank you guys. Thanks for watching. Hope you like this video. Share with your friends. Share with your college groups. Share with your WhatsApp and email friends, WhatsApp and Instagram friends or Instagram groups, so that your friends can be benefited. Thanks for watching guys. Bye.